We now turn our attention to golf. This week's tournaments, we've got the PGA Tour, the Greenbrier Classic. European Tour, we've got the Irish Open. So we're going to start with the PGA Tour. We've just had the Quicken Loans. It was a decent tournament. We had places here on this channel, David Lingmuth, Mark Leishman. Lingmuth could have done a bit better. He was leading after 2 rounds, 10 under par. He ended the tournament at 4 under par, so obviously he's flagged in the last 2 rounds, averaging 3 over par for the last 2 rounds. So he tied up a bit. I think we've talked about that on this channel before. Was hoping he could pull it out at 33 to 1, but he faltered and couldn't get over the line. So we just got 2 places there. But now going into this tournament, the Greenbrier, if we look at the odds, open up with Patrick Reed going off at the favourite. 16 to 1 is someone who we support on this channel. Generally, Kevin Kistner, 18 to 1. Bill Haas, 18 to 1. Reed, the number's fair enough, 16 to 1. I don't know if there's a huge amount of value on that, so I'm going to look past it. Normally I look to back Reed where he's a little bit bigger in the betting. You can sometimes get sort of 25s, 28s, 33s on Reed. That's when I look towards him. So I'm going to, although he's a very good player, and I have said on this channel, I believe he'll win at some point this year. I'm going to look past him this week. I'm going to look past Kistner. Haas we backed last week. He's just a very solid player. Keeps it in play. Not a huge hitter. Just very consistent and reliable. He's the sort of player we look to back. 18 to 1. Going to look past it this week. I think when you're getting Bill Haas in excess of 25 to 1, that's usually the sort of numbers you want to look at. You've got David Lingmuth at 25 to 1. Understandable. The form he's in has been in good touch. You know, the way he tied up in the last tournament, I'm going to look past him this week at 25. So I want a little bit more than that. The first selection I'm going to take in the Greenbrier will be the 6th favourite, which is Phil Mickelson. It's 25 to 1. I think it's a reasonable number. We know about him. I'm not going to go into Phil Mickelson. You know, he's won majors, he's won the Masters, whatever. Great player. Lefty, experienced. At 25 to 1 in this sort of field, I'm not going to ignore Phil Mickelson there. So we'll take him each way. We'll be betting on 7 places, a fifth of the odds on this event. I think that's available on Betfair. So those are the terms we'll be betting on. Looking at the odds now, you've got Webb Simpson 28, Danny Lee 30 to 1, Tony Finau 33 to 1, Keegan Bradley 33 to 1. All reasonably good players, all with a chance. I'm not sure about these numbers. There's no value jumping out. I mean, you've got Bubba Watson there, sorry, at 40 to 1. If you fancy Bubba, that's worth a shot. The next person I'm going to take, though, will be Charles Howell. He played very well last week. Obviously coming into a bit of form. He's a good player. I think there's talent there. He hasn't done as much as he can do. I always like to bet on people like that. No, it's 40 to 1, yeah. I'm not going to say there's a massive amount of value in there. It could have been slightly less, could have been 33s or 35s. I'm going to take the 40 to 1 on Charles Howell just because he's a hot player at the moment. So we'll take Howell each way. Next person I'm going to look to is just because I've looked at the figure of 80 to 1 on Stuart Sink. We know him, he's reliable, he's a Ryder Cup player, he's a major winner. Getting on in years now, but that swing hasn't changed much. It's always consistent. He's not the biggest hitter. Again, it's the type that we like to bet on, keeps it in play. At figures like 80 to 1, and with the consistency he's had, if you look at the form he's been in generally, it's been sort of top 30s, top 20s sort of form. He doesn't miss many cuts, Stuart Sink. I think he's probably missed 4 cuts all year. No, let me correct that. He's missed 4 cuts going back to October 2016. So this is a guy that's just consistent. I mean, let's look at the results. The US Open tied 46th. You know, nothing to shout about. But before that, tied 10th at the Memorial, tied 25th at the Dindaluca, tied 10th. Texas Open, tied 22. Missed cuts at RBC Heritage and the Wells Fargo, but at the Houston Open, tied 23rd. This is a guy who you can pretty much guarantee is going to give you a top 30 finish. And someone who's so consistent, 1 week they're going to heat up, especially someone with the experience of Sink. And at 80 to 1, we're going to add Stuart Sink to our betting this week. Next one's a bit of a Hail Mary. It's a bit left field. I noticed the last 2 weeks has come into a little bit of form. At 90 to 1, you can get Bryson DeChambeau, young player. I think he's got some unconventional feature with his game. I can't something like his clubs are all the same length or something like that. he talks about physics and different things and gives reasons like that, scientific reasons as to why all his clubs are the same length. But I'm not too bothered about that. What I'm bothered about is he's a talented player. He's going to come on. We're going to see more from this guy in the future. And this week in this sort of field, it's not a first class stellar field. It's split. There are some players off at the Irish Open. I think, yeah, 90-1. I think it's probably a good time um, to look at Bryson DeChambeau. That's just a nice figure. Just looking through the odds. I mean, I already mentioned Bubba Watson. That will be a notable omission for me. That might be one other people may want to look at. Siwoo Kim, I think he was disappointing last week. We backed him on this channel. He's available at 66-1. I am tempted by that. I may well go for Siwoo Kim. I'm just sort of deciding whether I'm going to go. I'm looking at three people. I'm looking at Xander Schauffele, 66-1. Gary Woodland, 66-1. And I'm also looking at Kim. One of those three. Woodland's a very good player. If you look at his form, though, he hasn't played very well for a while. He's a very big hitter. He's capable of a lot. He's someone that I'm going to keep in mind. I'm not going to go for Woodland this week. A lot of people liked Schauffele last week. Obviously didn't come through. I'm going to add Siwoo Kim. I'm going to stay with him. Backed him last week. He's a very talented player. Winner of the Players' Championship. I'm going to stay with him. He's missed the cut. You do get this sometimes. Sometimes players go missing. They miss the cut and then they just come. We're going to hope Siwoo Kim just comes on this week. It's more of just a bit of a gut play. Siwoo Kim there. Now we're going to turn our attention to the Irish Open. It's a pretty prestigious event on the European Tour. There's a decent field here as far as the European Tour goes. It's a big event. Everyone's looking forward to it. The Dubai Duty Free Irish Open. If we look at the odds, you've got Rory McIlroy at the head of the field. You've got Jon Rahm at the head of the field. So these are the sort of names that are, being touted around at the top of the market in the Irish Open. I'm going to look past those people at the top of the market, as we always do on this channel. We're not interested in single figure odds. I mean, Rory McIlroy will be going off around 7-1. As good as he is, I'm not interested. Hideki Matsuyama, someone we support on this channel, at 10-1, 9-1, that sort of price. I'm going to look past him, want a bit of value. Jon Rahm, 16-1, good figure. Probably worth considering. And so is the next one, is the star of this channel, Justin Rose, 16-1. It's a tempting figure on Rose. I'm going to look past him there. I like Rose at sort of early 20s upwards. Although Peters 25-1. We're going to get the ball rolling now. We're going to go straight in. We're going to go Shane Lowry, the Irishman, 33-1. Very good ball striker. Nice sort of short game. I think the Irish Open, obviously there's that Irish edge to it. He'll want to do well on his home sort of tournament. He's always consistent. If you look at Shane Lowry's record, his last few tournaments, he didn't do amazingly well in the US Open. I tied 46th, but he was tied 15th in the Memorial, tied 24th in the Wells Fargo. Tied 14th at Pebble Beach, just going back a bit, back to February. He's consistent enough. He's someone who's going to come in the sort of top 30 generally, and I'm just going to go with him to perform well at his home tournament. So I'm going to take Shane Lowry, 33-1. I'm also going to look to Lee Westwood, as I always like to do on the European Tour, and as I do generally in all majors, I look towards Lee Westwood. Why? He's very experienced, he's very consistent, keeps it in play. When his putter is on, he's a great putter. You know enough about Lee Westwood. We're going to take him this week, so we're going to have Lowry. We're going to have Westwood at around sort of 50-1 is available. There's very big numbers on Lee Westwood. And we're also going to look to Graham McDowell, former US Open winner. Again, the Irish connection. Will want to do well. Playing at home, tidy player, keeps it in play. I think he's got a chance this week. I mean, you can get as much as sort of 55-1 on Graham McDowell. I think in this field, of course, there are some good players in the field. We've talked about who's at the top end of the market. I think that's a really big number, actually. I think McDowell should be somewhere around 40-1. So I think there's definitely value there. Other ones that catch the eye can get Padraig Harrington. I saw him at live. I saw him live at Wentworth on the BMW PGA. He really strikes the ball nicely, He's a very confident man, and as he should be, multiple major winner. It's amazing to watch him hit the ball. The way he strikes the irons, the piercing and penetrating ball flight, it's unbelievable. Another thing about him was his confidence. Very confident man. You know, just he exudes confidence, he exudes authority on the course, and you can get 80 to 1 on Porrick Harrington this week, so that might be worth looking at. I'm going to look past it. I'm just going to mention it as a notable omission. You've got Ian Poulter there, 50 to 1, who did so well. What tournament was it? He came second in a big tournament. Was it the Players? Something like that. He performed recently, came out of nowhere, 50 to 1. That's not a bad figure. But I'm going to stick with a 3 for the Irish Open. I'm just going to go with Lee Westwood, Graham McDowell, and Shane Lowry. So we've covered 2 tournaments here, bit of extra value. We've done the European Tour, we've done the PGA Tour. Please give your opinions in the comments. If there's anyone you fancy, please say why. If you've got any views on the comments I've made, then of course far away. Yeah, same old drill, like and subscribe. Good luck with your selections and see you next time.